Hey guys, welcome back. This is another episode of my Monster Hunter Freedom walkthrough, and today we're doing the Attack of the Rathalos urgent quest. Now we're going to need a lot of materials for this quest. Most notable are pitfall traps, large barrel bombs, flash bombs, and of course mega potions, which you're probably going to need from this point forward. And of course maybe some materials to make more of any of the items that I've just said, especially the mega potions. Now, one of the things that I did was I also brought along herbal medicine, but with this armor set, I did not have to bring herbal medicine, so that was kind of a mistake on my part. But if you don't have an armor set that has poison resistance, make sure you have something to recover from, of course, the poisoning. Which, of course, I highly recommend the herbal medicine because it also heals you a little bit too. Now, to start this off, we are going to go into Area 3, which we are going to capture the Rathalos in. Now, the first thing that you want to do is you want to have paintballs at the ready, because this guy has a nasty tendency to move around. So, you always want to keep a nice little tab on where he is at. And so, I'm just going to let this cutscene play, and I will discuss further. Alright then, so yeah, again, the first thing that you want to do is you want to paintball him right away because he has a nasty habit of moving around quite often. Ideally, you want to face this guy in areas 3 and 4. And the worst places to face him is areas 9 and 6, which he does have a nasty tendency to go in both areas. Now, areas 3 and 4, of course, they are nice and open, giving you plenty of room to move around. So that is why they are, of course, the best places to be at if you want to fight this guy. And to fight this guy, your best option is, of course, to aim for the head. The head is his weak point. If you do enough damage to the head, the spikes on it, as you can see there, they will break off. Other parts that can break are, of course, his wings, and you can cut off his tail. But, let's see, again with the head, you also want to be a little bit careful because of course that is the business end of this monster. And it's not much for conversation. He's more for just taking a bite out of you. And another thing too is that tail of his is quite a nuisance. So if you want to go ahead and cut that tail off, you're more than welcome to. But aside from that, try to concentrate your attacks strictly at the head. It will make this quest go by so much easier. And a lot quicker, too. Now, of course, there's also Area 10 that he will go into, which I'm sort of mixed about, because 1 is an open area, which is very good. But 2, there's also a lot of shrubbery and foliage that will obstruct your view. And between you and this guy, he's going to have a much better view of you than you will of him. And another thing, too, is that you have the felines that are littered about in this area, which, if they are attacked, even by the monster, which, of course, is right here, if you can hear in the background there's a feline that was not too happy about that. So that feline will immediately target you, the hunter. And he will do that with me here in a moment, because apparently the hunter is a much greater threat than the giant killer monster. And there's that tail again. But there's a bomb that feline picked up, which I find so hilariously entertaining. And now this monster is in rage mode now, which obviously is represented by like smoke coming out of the monster's mouth. But another thing too is that this monster just loves to move from area to area, which that can make this quest be a bit time consuming. And of course, Area 9, I've bitched and moaned about this so much, but the worst aspects of Area 9 are the camera angle and the fact that you cannot move anywhere easily, as you're going to see here in a moment. So you have this lovingly close view of your hunter, and that's not a good thing because you can't see around you that often. And plus there are the mellings here, these little little cats that take your items. So another bad thing about this place, which they are often in this area, even on quests where the Rathalos is not present. But it is kind of satisfying to just knock them out, put them in their place. But yeah, going back to how narrow this place is, it's worse with the fact that the only good area to fight in, which I say that very loosely, is on the opposite end of the map, closer to Area 3. Which that means you're probably going to get chased down this tunnel, this narrow as hell tunnel. And there's a good chance that you will get hit. And as you can see there, the Rathalos also has sort of a little turn to him. So you can't just go into a straight line or even a minimal turn, because he will kind of follow you and track you down. And another thing too, with the flash bombs, your timing has to be good. As you can see there, he got up. I didn't get a glimpse of what exactly he did, but I threw the flash bomb, and apparently he was still recovering from whatever he was doing because he was not stunned. So if the Rathalos is in the middle of attacking, charging, getting up, or even landing, if you don't time your flash bomb right, it will not work. And so that is quite a tedious thing to deal with. But of course, as you can see, I like to avoid the cardinal rule of no upswinging in Monster Hunter and just upswing constantly. Which, with a stunned monster that taunts often when there is stunned like that, it's good to maintain in a single place while you attack. That way you always have a good fix on where you're trying to hit. But, one of the things I should probably point out is that when the Rathalos goes into the air, there's one of 4 things that he's likely to do. One, of course, is to leave the area. Others include fireball attacks, clawing, and even dive bombing. Now, in this game, dive bombs are a little bit rare. He doesn't do them very often, but in subsequent games or the sequels, he will do it quite often. In fact, he's quite known for that. And of course, right here, this is really, really weird. I never had this happen before, but I knocked him out of the sky, and he's just acting like he has amnesia or something, so I might have just made him forget who he was for a second. So he's got to leave. And thank God for that, too, because I do not like fighting in this area. As you can see there, the torso armor of my hunter looks like something Freddie Mercury would wear, so quite awkward to stare at my hunter's chest. Even though it is technically a representation of me. It makes me feel a little more self-conscious than I already am. But, whatever. So, Area 4 here, ideally one of the best places to go. Now, Area 6, the other place that I mentioned, he will go to, and in fact that's where he's leaving to right now, is possibly, I want to say worse than Area 9, but not really. It's more annoying getting back from Area 6 to other areas where the Rathalos is going to go to. So, you can go down the cliff from Area 6, but if you want to go back into Area 5 to Area 4, which seems like the shorter way, you're going to have to climb up a lot of vines. And climbing vines is a slow process in this game. So it's probably better if you just do a roundabout to Area 2, then 3 to 4 to 5, instead of just climbing all the way up. And of course, the Rathalos doesn't like to spend a whole lot of time in this particular area. He will often fly down here, land, walk a little bit, then leave. And he just does not spend a whole lot of time here. But it is often a good opportunity to tag him again with a paintball, just to make sure that your previous one is not going to fall off. Now, a little lesser known thing about the Rathalos, in these games at least, is that they have a kind of predictable moveset. The same goes with the female counterpart, the Rathian. And by that I mean, when attacking, the speed of which the Rathalos turns to face you can determine what attack he's going to use. Now, as you just saw there, he kind of turned really quickly, So a lot of the times when he does that, he will charge at you. So it's usually an indication of a charging attack. And of course right here, just for those that were wondering what the hell, I just cut away the portion where I'm going from 2 to 3 because, you know, it's just boring. Now, back to his attacking. If he turns to you slowly, it's often an indication that he is going to do a fireball at you. Now, these aren't set in stone, but usually that is how he works in this game. Now, of course, in Area 5 here, which if you're going from Area 6 to Area 5 by the means I did, then you will have plenty of time for him to make time for him to go to sleep. And to take these guys down, because that is the most annoying thing in Area 5, are the Velociprey. And so the strategy I used for this was I laid down a pitfall trap and I woke him up using barrel bombs. Now, I had the pitfall trap out, that way he would wake up, see me, and then charge at me. Which he will do eventually, but he's going to take a sweet time for it. So here is the pitfall trap. And I'm just going to set up the bombs. Another thing you can do is that if you have a hard time killing this guy, you can capture him if you have tranq bombs. What you do is you just lure him into the trap, of course, and then throw the tranq bombs at him. Which, if you capture him, it still counts as completing the quest. But a lot of times capturing is considered harder, especially if you're in a... if you're doing a quest where you're strictly supposed to capture the target monster. And so right here is pretty much the showdown with him. Now, he didn't do anything when he was flying, but now he's going to shoot off a barrage of fireballs. Which, this is kind of irritating, because you want him to chase you, but he's not taken. So you just have to kind of wait behind your trap and have him take the bait. And of course, try to aim your attacks at his head as you're doing this. In Rage mode, it is a little bit frightening because he is running at you a lot quicker. And a lot of your items, like the pitfall traps, the flash bombs, they will not last as long when he's in Rage mode. And as you can see right there, he's turning swiftly, so he's going to charge at full speed. Which usually doesn't do too much when he's normal, but in Rage mode he will take off a decent chunk. And a good opportunity there, what I just did, is that when he flies up into the air, you want to get under him to either sharpen your weapon, or, like I'm going to do a little bit later, or at least attempt to, is place a large barrel bomb and just set that thing off. Because, you know, as much damage as you can do, as quick as you can do it. That's pretty much the philosophy in this. So just a little kaboom. Yeah, and for those great sword users, make sure you have your finger constantly on the guard button. Just in case if you run into a scenario like that, where he's just immediately going to charge, and it's just not going to be pretty if you're not prepared. And there's another attack of his that he doesn't do a whole lot, but it can be devastating if you're not prepared for it. And here's a good example as to why you keep spare materials, just in case you want to trap him again, especially when he's out of Rage mode. Now he's just going to hop on in, do a few more wails with the greatsword. Now, you can use the normal forward, like downward swing, if you want to recenter yourself if you find yourself missing your attacks fairly often. Because as you can see, he's a little bit erratic in everything here. But if you do get in a lot of hits, just make sure you're ready to run when he recovers from it, because there's a good chance he's going to go back into Rage mode. And right there, cut his foot open and apparently kills him. So for this quest, if you're doing what I'm doing, then it's probably going to take you between 10 to 20 minutes at most in order to kill this guy. But make sure you take into account for how much running around that you're going to have to do just to catch up with this monster. So with that said, for the ones that haven't hunted this guy a lot, and particularly in this game, I would say maximum 25 minutes of just messing around that you're going to have to do before you effectively kill him. Again, just most of it comes from the fact that you're running around trying to get to him. But yeah, that is Attack of the Rathalos, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all again next time. Take care.